Samme dagen som han ble borte at noe var galt. Nei, ikke fikk kontakt. Vi har kontakt hele tiden, vi ringes, vi skrives, noen ut og reiser. Så ble det plutselig stille.
He said that he was going to do one more errand for the Norwegian military intelligence in Moscow. 2 weeks later, he disappeared.
It's hard to imagine how anyone kept such big secrets here, and yet there was a really murky spy drama right here in Kirkenes.
How many times did the Norwegian intelligence agency approach you?
Maybe close to 10 times.
Frode Berg was arrested in Moscow in December 2017. In court, the pensioner admitted he'd been working for Norwegian military intelligence. His wife had had no idea about his double life. That week, Anita had seen Frode off to Moscow to meet friends. Then he vanished. 3 frantic days later, she learned her husband had been accused of espionage. He's now serving 14 years in a Russian prison.
Men det de sint på, det jo norsk etterretning. Da får de ta sine egne, ikke ødelegge. De har tatt han, ødelagt han, men de har jo også knekt en hel familie.
It started in 1970.
Frode Berg worked most of his life on Norway's northern border with Russia. It was after he retired that he agreed to deliver envelopes to a Russian source for Norwegian military intelligence. It seems they wanted data on Russia's atomic submarines. But Frode Berg did confide in one person, and Trina says her friend felt under pressure to be a patriot.
He said that he was doing errands for others while he was in Russia. And I was like, for others? And he said, yeah, the secret services. He had told them he didn't want to, but they really had let him understand that it was important. And they had asked him several times if he did not want to be a good Norwegian.
His arrest shook this community. Kirkenes is proud of building good relations with its neighbour. Even the signs here are in Russian. And where else would you find Russian reggae in a Norwegian nightclub? Up here, they call this balalaika diplomacy, and Frode Berg was one of its greatest ambassadors. Arctic musicians drowning out the hostile talk of their capitals. And it seems to work.
I've never been there. I don't know anything about Russia, but from now on I like the music.
This place is weird. It's nearly the middle of the night and it's still light here, like daytime. And it's a really small community too, a tiny town. It's hard to imagine how anyone kept such big secrets here, and yet there was a really murky spy drama right here in Kirkenes.
But these remote borderlands are sensitive territory for both sides, especially as political tensions have grown. That's easy to see over in Russia. This whole route up here in the far north of Russia is a mixture of this really quite beautiful rugged landscape and military installations. There's bases, there are military trucks, all just a reminder that we're not only on the border of Russia and Norway, but Russia and NATO as well. Even so, that border is still open for locals to cross without a visa. That brings Norwegians into Russia in droves to stock up on cheap fuel.
Yeah, it's under half the price.
So it makes it worth coming
yes,
here?
Yes, definitely. Lots of people do it.
And do you have any Russian friends at all?
No, not at all.
You've never spoken to any Russians?
No, only the cashier.
Nickel is Russia's version of Kirkenes, its run-down twin town. And they're just as keen on cooperation over here. Their wealthier neighbours are helping to clean up these emissions. Norwegian cash even helped build the only church in Nickel. But back in Kirkenes, more strange stories have come to light that threaten all that. Others who say they were approached by Norwegian intelligence, and signs that Russian agents were watching them all the time. Businessman Atle Berg believes that's why he was detained in Russia and accused of spying. He says Russia's FSB security service knew that Norwegian intelligence had tried to recruit him.
They came to my home place several times and tried to engage me. But I denied. I said no. And I said again and again and again the same.
What did they say they wanted?
They were not so precise. Just information, what has happened, what do you see, blah, blah,
Norway's
blah.
intelligence agency didn't want to comment on any of this. Caught in the middle of it all is Frode Berg's family. His wife describes a life on hold, waiting for rare calls from a Russian prison. Her great hope now is that Russia's president will pardon her husband, perhaps agree to a prisoner swap that could bring Frode Berg back home. Her great fear that any political deal in this climate will be painfully slow.
Det tøft, det slitsomt. Og det blir ikke lettere, du blir bare mer og mer sliten.
What do you want them to do?
Alt. Ja. Ja. Gjør det de kan. Og de burde ha gjort det fort.